Do we have any visitors today? Very good. Most of everyone here knows me already, is that right? Yeah. I gave some knowledge in the way of how not to answer Satan. So I thought today, well, I didn't really think of something. I wanted to know, I asked, what should I speak on? So Mother said, well, I think you should speak on how to answer you. So I thought about it. I said, well, why not? So this is going to be how to answer Allah. So I don't know how I'll do. You know, it's easy talking about somebody else. I want to thank Sister Artenia. She had quite a bit more to say. So I didn't get the key to come up. I guess the next time she'll really tell some experiences. And you all should question my wives anyhow. They got quite a few things to say. They're not just sitting home baking bread. For those of you that have not met me or heard me or heard of me here today, I would advise you to get a tape, get some literature, because you're very light dependable on it. And that's for real. You might say, well, I could say, well, I don't have anything to do with that, however I do. I'm the only one that can actually bring understanding and clarity to everything that you need to know. Then after you need to know it and you get it, it's up to you whether you want to act on it or not. However, at this day and time, you're not to be cheated on that which you are supposed to know. And if one knows it and refuses to share it with you, then we take it back from them, or we make it a curse on them. You understand? You all can hear me well, right? Is it going to come right on the tape, all right? I've had so many experiences, you know, everybody hear me in the audience, but when I put the tape in the minister, you know, you can hear it real good. When it gets to me, I don't know what happens. Satan must us up with the voices. They don't come out on the tape the way it should. So you don't get sometimes the thrust that you like to have. You know, when I'm speaking about myself, it just me. It's more like a teaching instead of a preaching. So I don't get all excited and get all into it and whatnot. Maybe I don't see myself the way you all do. Well, getting on the topic. Answering me as a person is very easy, because you can focus in and see, and you know, you can respond to whatever I'm stimulating you to respond to. However, to answer me in your head, when there's no visual thing to see, that's the part you need to be able to respond to. And that seems to be somewhat difficult to people to actually respond to Allah in that way. Those of you that don't know what Allah is, you would say God, the deity, the inner voice that speaks to you, things that are correct. Most of us lay that aside because it doesn't correspond with what you're doing or what the world is doing every day. So it's hard to answer to that. However, in our very creating and making of you and us, the very first thing that comes to you is truth. And it has to be coming directly to you, not through some other mediation or mediator. If it comes on the wind, that's all right. If it comes from something that is known to be less than you, that's all right. Because you know you don't have to respond to that. You don't owe it no loyalty or no submission. In other words, if a dog tells you something that's right, you don't mind that. If a mosquito tells you something that's right, you don't mind it. If another person tells you, then you question it. Because this person could be your superior. And that seems to be the problem with the people today. Regardless of what I say, what knowledge I share, the ones that listen to it, very few will come out to be actually with me. Just for the mere fact They don't want to feel as though they're under another person's instruction. They like to hold on to Jesus, Master Farad Muhammad, the messenger, everyone that's passed, because they know they will never see them in their face where they have to answer to them. So you always got an excuse, well, I didn't understand. When that's not the way we created you or made you. There's a saying that most people say, well, you don't have to tell me what to do. I know what's right and wrong. In a sense, you do. In reality, you don't. Because what you see as reality is what takes on today. It's real to you that you think you have to eat. You must have shelter. You must have clothing. And you're not producing any of it. So since you're not producing it, you can't listen to that sense that's speaking to you that is right. You have to discard that and go with what's wrong, because what's wrong is the order of the day. Are you listening? Yeah. So being that we know this, even when we allowed ourselves to go under another man's authority, we had to prep him and prepare a place for him to actually exercise his authority. He couldn't just say it. It had nothing for you to do in it. So all of the preachers, ministers, and leaders that speak very well, they give very good logical reasoning. However, when you go to employ it, all that you've learned and all that you've heard, you have to employ it with the man that is opposite of that. So you got to compromise. This goes all the way down to your children. You have to do it so you can eat and have a roof over your head. And then you start making your children do it, because they come up with right in them. When they go to express it, you got to suppress that, or they're going to bring you some problems. Because nobody made a place for you to operate in right. Hope you listen. This is something that is your innate nature, for you to be independent, not to answer to something of that nature or of that sort, meaning something that's totally by nature against you. You're not to answer to that. And this is one thing white folks has never done. They never answer to anyone other than themselves. Not like us. We've answered to us. We've answered to the brown man, the yellow man, and the white man. Now you don't have to do that. If you listen to Allah that speaks to you in your own head, that gives you clear signs of the time and what He is doing and what must be done from you. Are you listening? That must be done from you. It's not going to hinder me if you don't accept. It's not going to hinder me not one bit. However, you will perish. Now, it depends upon what manner you reject this. Will depend upon how you perish. Today, you don't just stand up and say, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and it's in opposition of the Supreme Being. And you make it known and you go about doing it. That's in total opposition against the authority of the Supreme Being. You don't have the power to really catch a fly. You didn't make no fly swatter. You didn't make no fly catcher. You got some brothers fast enough to catch it out of there, but it's one or two brothers. So how you going to stop that's already set for such activity. How would you stop it? I just want you all to think. If you can get out of your mind, say the United Nations of Islam, and I got to come under what they say. Well, if you come up with something that is greater than what's going on, not greater than what we're doing, but greater than what's going on in the world, and it provides a way out for you to be active in doing your nature, we may consider coming with you all. If you really look at it, I went up to California, and while I was there, we went to Reverend Price's church, and they have you all saw it, I think you've seen it on TV, they have the big dome, and then they have the classrooms, and they're so proud of that. They took us in their technical room, or the video room, where they do all the videos, and where they actually film him while he's teaching or preaching, and they were very proud of it. They had the top of the state-of-the-art equipment. They were showing all to us and whatnot, and then they carried us to their school, got us all through the school, and showed us the little things that they had mapped out for the children, the little red lines and white lines on the floor, how they had it all set up for behavior. You know, it's almost like the prison. You walk a straight line, you're not supposed to get over the line. They had it all set up that way. The whole time, they were constantly praising us. But there was somebody that looked like you. Where did you say you were from? I was looking at what they had put there from the time that they had been in existence. That's the only place you can go to actually operate in his circle. It's right there. If you get in the car, you can't drive 2 minutes, you're off the place. But billions has been put there almost. Now they're talking about building another big gymnasium. And he speaks very logically about what God would have you to do and how to see God. After you learn all that and see him in his domain, it's very effective on your psyche. So you leave and go home or go wherever you're going with this impression on your thinking, as though something is really being done. And you look at what you got is so nothing that you don't really look at it. You still look at what was impressed on your mind. Now this is a little place sitting at the southwest corner of 2,000 by 3,000 miles. It's not even a mile. I'm not talking about the pastor. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you hear me speak to you, how are you going to relate to it? If I allow himself, don't put something in motion for you to do, it'll be a sin for me to tell you knowledge that you can't express. Is that right? It's the same principle as a baby that is being formed in the mother's womb. When the baby is fully developed in the womb and it makes its exit, it don't have an entity. But there's motion. So when the entity does come in, it's got a place for it that's in motion. It don't have if the baby is stillborn, the entity can't come in. Nothing to do. So with all the preachers that has told you all this, they're stillborn. You don't have nothing to do. After you get it, you go to work for a man that is opposite of what you do. And you made all of this, even him, for a reason. Now, the reason has been lived out, played out, and brought to its conclusion. Then the God comes as he said he would do. At the end of time. So he shows up. Just before the end of time, he shows up to one man. I want you Muslims listen. He called by name in the Bible Elijah. Just before the great and dreadful day. So he comes and raises Elijah up. He spoke to Elijah. All that he did before Elijah was just an example for Elijah. Because everyone that he taught or gave names, most of them have passed on. They're gone to visit Methuselah. Think about it. Now, when he raises the messenger up, the messenger has all of this past that Master Farah Muhammad developed that would give him credence for him to go forward. In other words, he has something to do with what the Supreme Being gave him. You follow me? After he performs his duty, then the God says, I will come, because that truly is the end. Because by the time Elijah finishes, the main thing will have taken place. We will know who we are, and we will know who the enemy of us is. And that's the Caucasian, on the physical sense. Now, in the spiritual, the messenger didn't go into that. We were spiritual people. Hey, but you got to be brought up or brought back to the essence. You just don't go from physical right to the essence. You skip the thing. If you missed it, what you missed is going to cause your downfall. So the messenger took two parts of it. Like he said, Allah gave him the understanding of 2/3 of the Quran. So he dealt with the physical and the mental. When you first came to the temple back then, when the messenger was teaching, one of the number one things he taught on was change your diet. You've eaten so much hog, you look ugly. You can't say it's lying. Go back and look at one of those pictures. But we were in accord with the time. So he took care of the physical thing. Then when he started explaining to us the why we are that way or were that way, then let's start going into the mental so you could think. And most people say, well, I knew something was wrong with that man. I didn't know he was the devil, but I can bear witness he must be. Now you start thinking because you remember what happened to your grandmother. Not you. I'm talking about the people at that time that's coming up. Now they brought it right on up from the time they could remember back right to where they were then. And then here's a little man. Still little. Brought him back, he's still little. Little man. He's standing up to a system. Would you listen? So you need to know how to talk to me without seeing me and without being afraid. You're not afraid of math, are you? Well, in essence, that's me. If you're not afraid of math, you're not afraid of me. So if you make an error in your calculation, since you're not afraid of math, then you're not afraid of truth. So you can always go back or allow yourself to be taken back to the point of origin so you can do it right. After the messenger had done his duty, and to make a way for me, I am to deal only with the spiritual in the sense of bringing you alive. I'm not going to build no nation as far as me actually building it. Are you listening? You all don't see me with no hammers. You may see me driving a bus or a car or something like that. However, that's something that everybody can do. So you can't say, well, he did that so he's God. No, you do that too. However, what I do, I'm acquainting you with the other force that even brought about the reason for this to even take place. The reason why there is a great and dreadful. Why isn't it just great? Well, because if it was just that white folks or the enemy was to experience the dreadful, we wouldn't have to say dreadful. We just say it's a great thing. You can't measure nothing. And that's what they are. They only become something when you make them something. You know, when the message, just about at the time that he was finishing his public speaking at the time I stepped in the nation. And at the time, I knew very little. I just knew this was the right place. So I came in, I started working, I started watching everything, and I started listening. I started seeing that half of the brothers and sisters were not really learning. They were intrigued with the messenger. And what really made it intriguing, we very seldom saw him. So it allowed us to build up our own thinking what he and Master Prophet Muhammad or Allah was doing. What's going to happen next? To surprise this devil. To knock him off his feet and show him that he's the devil and we're God. Never happened. Then we heard saviors and everybody geared up on the plane, on the train, in the cars. They're on the way out there. I'm home sitting up by the phone. Savior's Day's coming in. I get a call. The messenger's passed on. I said, what? This has got to be calculated. There's no way in the world this man can do what he has done, then wait for the expectation of everybody around the country and world to come and see him. And while they're on the way, did he leave? Even the man of nothing. And how I knew that he was actually nothing at the time, once I came in, all the way in, I didn't have to deal with no white folks. And this isn't about white folks. Listen to what's being said. I didn't have to deal with them. By the time I arrived, I did all my shopping at the supermarket. I got my haircut at the Shabazz barber shop. I got my teeth pulled at the dentistry of the nation. Everything we did. I got the gas at the nation's filling station. One day, my wife went out and bought some furniture. She could have paid cash for it. However, she didn't. She didn't make the payment because he was the devil. So I said, the Messenger don't teach that. You're supposed to pay him regardless. If you make the bill, pay it. So she said, well, yes, I'm going to pay him. So I being trusting, which I shouldn't. I didn't learn to check everybody. I happened to be home and the devil called. Mr. Jenkins? Yeah, that's Reverend, bro. That's what I thought. I said, yes, who is calling? Well, this is so-and-so Brothers, furniture store, and you owe a bill. I said, so? When are you going to pay it? I said, when did we promise to pay it? You were 3 months late. I looked at my wife. 3 months late? But I didn't like the way he was talking to me. So then I realized, I don't have to answer to him. I do have to pay the bill, but I don't have to answer to him. So he says, the messenger don't teach that. No, he said, Elijah don't teach that. I said, you was my first teacher. Shut him up. I'm saying this, I said that to say this. The man as we know it here that's running the world, according to what we have done and going to do, is styled as nothing, and you can't make him something. He's like the night. It has no power to stay or leave. It's totally dependent upon the sun and the rotation of the earth. Totally. Is that right? Yeah. If there's no motion, like our moon, it don't rotate, it revolves, but it don't rotate. So every time we see the same side all the time. So the dark side never gets into the light of the sun because it's not moving. The darkness don't have no power to come and cool the side that's in the heat all the time. It don't have no power. So our living under this man's conditions that he has placed for us, you have made it in your own thinking. And the preachers have multiplied multiplied this, making you to believe, to be a good Christian, you're supposed to submit to the law of the land. That's until the end of time or until I show up. And if you want to submit to the law of the land, this automatically means you're not going to submit to me. The law of the land don't have nothing to do with the law of the Creator. Is that right? Yes. So if you're going to take the lesser and put it above the greater, you're in error. So, you hear about the United Nation of Islam. The very word itself should let you know that's right. Now, what am I going to do about it? You just going to wait? I think I'll wait and see what they're going to do. That's not the marking of a God or a wise man or person. If I came up and said, listen, everybody that accepts me and comes to be with me, if you can make it for 30 years with me, I'll have $1 billion waiting for you at the end of that time. You would come and search how you could do that, or how you could make me shorten the time. If I come and present to you, not if, I come and actually present to you life forever. I'm going to actually change your physical body. You don't have to leave. You can stay and witness this, and also witness the transition into perfectness. You say, well, I'll wait and see when he does the first one, then I may come. At the same time, the dreadful is going on. So if the nothing man is nothing, who am I actually upset with? Who is the destruction for? You think about it. In the Quran it reads that we already made them fuel for the fire. We made them that. Not that we made them and then we turned them into that. From their very conception. 6 days. Then I will cook you. You're fuel for the fire. This is the enemy. And his wife has a rope around her neck. Meaning she's lesser than him. Even if she survives, she will not be able to do anything that's negative, because there won't be no white man around. It'll be the black man. She'll have to submit to the black man. So what could she do other than right? So the threat don't have to be, or the reality of her existence don't have to be as severe as her husband. Are you following this? So when I speak to you in your own thinking, that's the best place. The best place to speak to you. In this way, when you operate, it'll be a personal relationship between you and I, not a group relationship. Everybody show up, we get on the bus, and we all go. That's a group. The personal relationship comes in, am I going to go to be with the group? No, I think I'll stay home. Or I think I'll go. Whatever you're thinking with should be able to give you the absolute. So the first thing that comes to your mind, that sense that you say, the sense of rightness, that's me. And then what you do, after that, you employ mathematical thinking. Those of you that came under the message, he used to say, think 5 times before you speak, and then you might be right. White folks said the same thing. If you with me, you don't have to think no 5 times. You know it's right. The first thought, that's right. Now the other thought comes in, how am I going to do it? How am I going to do this? That's where the thinking comes in. Now, you and I have a conversation. First, I just spoke to you. Now you're going to answer back. In your answering back, you're using mathematical thinking. Should I actually be a part of the building of this nation? Should I? What's going to happen when I make a stand and my parents says, you're going to be with them? Or your wife says, if you go with him, You will have to make a decision. I'm leaving you. Or the police shows up to your house and says, you haven't paid your child support? We have to take you off to jail. Just before he comes, you heard me. If you come be with me, you don't have to answer that. Now you're thinking. The truth was already spoken to you. If you come to be with me, you don't have to answer that. Why not? Are you saying, Solomon, that we shouldn't as men take care of our children? Or are they really your children? Is that child something that you planned to actually bring into the world? If you didn't plan it, and you was acting on the pleasures of nature, and you got caught, whose child is it? Is it the Royall's child or yours? So you're supposed to be responsible. You know, there's a thing that we do when we have more than 2 or 3 children in the home. At first, when you have one child, you can carry the child with you most every place you go. When it gets to be 3 and 4, then it gets to be a task. You would like for them to go, but just the thing that they do to take away from what you're going to do makes you stop and say, wait a minute. Maybe I need to get a babysitter. Because you don't trust them to actually do things that is safe for them continuously. So you employ somebody to watch them. This is the same thing with you, black man. As long as you don't have your nation, and you father a child, or be a daddy to a child, you don't have nothing to do with the actual saying of what must take place with that particular child, because you can't say what's going to happen to you. Your job is at the mercy of somebody that's having the job for you. So it's like the biggest child at home, you say, well, I'll be glad when it gets big enough I can leave that child and watch the other children. And then you're kind of a little skeptical then, first, especially the first time. You call him back. How's things going? Because you know the person there may do wrong just as quick as they do right, and don't know it. So it's the same thing with your child. If the society or the rhythm of life that you're living today, you find yourself in a situation where a child is coming about. First thing you do, if the child actually makes it, you got to either deal with the parents, the parents of the mother, or your parents, see if you can move in with them. You need help. You need help. Because you don't have no nation, you don't have no stability. Are you all following what I'm saying? Don't go to sleep. Now, however, this is just a little food for thought, so when I speak to you, you'll know how to answer back. Not to me per se, but answer back to the essence that you cannot deny. You can't lie to it and make it think that you're doing right, that you come up with the right decision. You don't accept it. Because number one will remain number one. You can't make it anything less than that or more than that. It's independent. It is. Is that right? Yes, sir. One of the greatest people that had an opportunity to actually make us free was Minister Farrakhan or Minister Lewis. And we see what he has done now. The book said the second beast raped you again. He took everything from you. You go to the temple, turn you upside down, take all your money. Then he wants to make sure you have a system, make sure you get a job to take care of your family. That's not what it was for. Unless the family, your family, was his family. Because you go to work got money. Come to the temple and turn that money over. Under the guise of, brothers, if you're going to be a man, you must have a job and take care of your family. If the money comes in and he never produces a place for you, and I'm saying him because he's the last person on the scene that is ordained by divinity to do something for you. Wasn't done. And at the end of 20-some years, he should have been a man in what he's doing by now. When you look, it has lessened. There are fewer temples, fewer members, right to the point that there is no more Nation of Islam. It's been flushed down the toilet. I'm saying this because as he was taken out, something was being brought in. If there's no nation, we have a united nation. Well, is it right? Well, let's look at it. If God is saying, I'm holding you responsible to be like me, I'm a man of action. Whatever I need, I go and produce it. I don't snap no fingers, I go to work and produce it. All that is with me will do the same thing. However, I am to such magnitude that whatever you come up with, you will not be able to operate outside of my sphere. But I'm not a selfish God. I'm a giving God. And when I see that you have a thirst for activity that's the right kind, I must provide a place for you to actually practice what you have a thirst for. That's wonderful. So, starting this, I can only start with the idea that there must be someone that wants to do something right. So let me go to work. I haven't found him, but I'm going to work anyhow. First, I'm going to put my word out. That's the way it works. I'm going to put my word out. I'm a man. This is what's going to happen. Then I start doing it in a very small way compared to your everyday activity. Then I get where you all can start participating with me. And you become very frustrated because you can't find nothing wrong. Every time you look for it, you find you wrong. Then you start thinking, God, should I remain with this? I mean, these officials just... And then you call me up. Sometimes I call you. The officials will tell me, Father, so-and-so and so-and-so and so is the case, and should I take my 45 and just blow their brains out? I said, no, sister Aisha. No, don't do that. I'll call them myself. So I call and ask 2 or 3 questions. Because what's happening when I call and talk to you, I speak to me. I don't speak to Satan. When I call and talk to you, I speak exactly to me that's in you. And I always get the right answer. And then when I finish, I say, well, where's the problem? I understand, Father. Okay. Because there was no problem. The problem was you was listening to Satan. You think the things are still supposed to be the way it is, that we always do things with a partner. You know, even when you get married, the preacher will make you think this is your better half. So you got a partner. So every time you think to do something, you always got to think, now, what is my partner going to do about this? Or are they going to oppose me? They going to be with me? Well, golly, geez, let me see. If you don't have no partner, the only thing that you have to be right with is the math. If you're right with it, then you tell your other part that's with you that makes you whole. Listen, baby, so-and-so and so has to take place. Well, do you have to do it now? I don't have to do it now. But it must be done. And it has to be done before so-and-so time. So whatever you need to be in accord with me, from now until that time, let's put it in motion. Well, why so? Because so and so and so and so and so and so. And she started saying, oh. Then she's going to come up with the question. Well, okay, I see that. But what about the so and so? Oh. So you really don't have no partner. You just explaining to the rest of you what the major part of you are doing. You know, it's like your right hand finally decided to shake your left hand. Still you. But if you look at it in the sense of this is the part, you give them power. You don't get anything from this. This is how you answer Allah in the unseen. He has everything for you, everything for you. Everything outside of spiritual is something that has been added on from the mental to show you and magnify the spiritual. Here's a microphone. The idea before we saw this or this came into existence was to be able to transmit the voice at a greater distance than the vocal cords would allow. That's the idea. This is the dressing of the idea. It's dressed up. You got it? Yes, sir. So if you take this back down to its essence, that's just what you will come up with. There won't be nothing physical involved. Nothing. Do you get that? Yes, sir. All right, well, I don't have no clock. I don't know what time it is. Somebody is willing to share it with me? 12:23? Are we going to have questions today? Or no questions? All right, those of you that, I would like very much for some of you all that haven't ever asked me anything, or feel as though they would like to speak to the Supreme Being, do so. And not so much the ones that are already with me. I speak to you continuously. I do. You know, before you go to bed, while you're in bed, when you get up, when you go to the washroom, or as my wife called it, the water closet, you know, there's no place you can go or be that I'm not speaking with you. It's just whether you answer me or not. Because if it exists, there's a right way to use it. And we always want right. So if I see you doing it wrong, I've already told you the right way. If you used to do it wrong anyhow, I say, well, I can't make him do it right until he comes to our place. Then when he gets to our place, we can make him do right or make him leave. Is that right? Yeah. You all already knew this, right? I told my wife I shouldn't come out here today. If you already know it, you all already knew how to talk to me? Okay, so my visit's not in vain. Well, that's what you do. Once you get into your thinking that you're not answering to a man, the only way that you could possibly conceive that I truly am the Supreme Being is that you must know how to relate to nature and the laws of it. Here's an individual that's standing before you that's different from anyone else. I represent all of the power of the universe and more. If I didn't have more, I couldn't bring about a correction to this one. I want you to listen. I want you to listen. However, there's no way in the world you could prove this to you. I can't prove it to you, and no one else can prove it to you, and you can't prove it to yourself if you're unable to answer me. If you are, then you can see why the God decided to allow this type of force come into one body and be able to stand before you. It's only because you don't know. If you knew, there's no need for no person standing before you. There's no need for that. You only have to rise with the sun. If the sun rose too early for you, put your shades down. Get up when you want to get up. drive trucks. I used to run Long Island, New York, Long Island, forget it. It was very, very clean. The building wasn't very large. However, it looked unique. It was different from any building I'd ever saw. And I've been to a lot of places. I mean, a lot of places. A lot of places. I never saw no building look like this. When I got there, it was about 2 or 2:30 in the afternoon. So they had about 25 people out on the lawn. And I pulled up. And the first time I'd been there, so I went around to the receiving dock. And they had a couple sitting there eating. A couple got out on the truck, started unloading. So I asked them, I said, what kind of place is this? And it was a Caucasian. He said, oh man, this is a wonderful place. He still didn't tell me what kind of place it was. He just said, this is a wonderful place. I said, how so? He said, this is the only place on the island where you can come to work when you want to come. I said, really? First thing come in my mind, boy, I'd like to work at this place. I said, well, how so? He says, what we do, we stay true to our word. If we have something to do, and we know we're going to be finished with it by a certain time, we give ourselves time to be to work, and we tell them that's when we'll be to work, and that's when we come. And nobody never comes to work, and they don't have no rush hour, because they don't come to work like that. I said, boy, this is unique. And I said, well, does everybody come? He said, oh, yes, everybody comes when they say it. They don't want to lose this. So I said, well, I can come to work today in the morning. And if I decided tomorrow to come to work at night, they said, yeah, you can do that. I still don't know what the place is. I never got to go inside. And he never told me. But I never forgot it. You can do the same thing. However, you got to have a place. You cannot do nothing out here. I don't care how fine your church looks. You don't forget that. It puts you in it's no better than when you go to Las Vegas. It puts you in the mindset of what they want you to be in. Whoever designed the church, the architect, they designed it to deal with your thinking while you're there. It makes you look like, well, God is certainly have us in mind. Look at this beautiful structure that we're coming to just to speak about Him. It's severely limited. Severely. If he was a sprint runner, you could just about run the distance of the largest church in 6 seconds. You see what I'm saying? Because once you step aside, what they have done is cause you to be a willing slave to your workplace. There ain't no other place for you to express that you're righteous, that you're a good Christian, other than your job. You don't do it with your neighbor because you keep all your shades closed. You keep your doors locked. And when you walk out your house, you look straight ahead, unless there's a house in front of you. Then you look straight down, get in your car, and you leave. So you go to work, and once you get to work, now all the people that you know that works, you feel as though you can talk with them, so you're going to be a good Christian, and you know you can't because you know they're lying to you, because you're lying to them. So all of these buildings and all of this hoopla about Jesus, we've had enough time and enough evidence to show that is not working in this day and time. Its purpose has lived its life out. It made us docile. It suppressed the power of the black man until I came. Now I'm here and I'm saying to you, with no strings attached, unequivocally, you are the God, stand up, I'll show you how to be God. What's stopping you from doing it is because you don't know how to answer me, and you always, whether you know it or not, is answering Satan. And he is a good conversationalist. He will make what you are thinking seem to be so right and exact that you try it, and when you try, you get trapped up, and you expect the next person to understand why you did it wrong, because you know they're answering to Satan too. should understand. However, was it wrong? Yes, it was wrong. Well, man, what else to do? What am I doing it right? Well, don't nobody do right. Well, don't you go to church? I go to church. I've accepted Jesus as my personal Lord and Savior. And the Muslims, there's no God but Allah. And Prophet Muhammad is his last and greatest prophet, the seal of the prophets. In this country, that's out of place. Because as soon as you get up off the prayer rug, as soon as you finish saying that, you go right to white folks. You go, Mr. Bobo, so Mr. Bobo, I don't want you to give me no hard time on my job. It's not his job. You was like my daughter's telling me, I said, well, why don't you do something? Well, I'm waiting for my check. You work somewhere? Well, no, sir. Well, what do you mean, your check? Well, you know, they send me a check every month. They? When did it get to be yours? Why don't you come be with your father? Check that. Check it out. This is just food for thought, so you know how to answer me when you don't see me. If you must place me in a picture of me in your memory, then do so. I'm not that bad looking. I shouldn't offend you that much. And then speak back and see if I answer you back. You know, a lot of times I like to speak to you all personally, not just from the system or method. From me personally to you. You don't see me. I just send you a message. Most of the time you don't pick it up. It won't get through. And if I have to make it get through, then it becomes spooky to you. Because I had a dream, I had a vision, and in this way it's so out of the norm, you think there's some great significance to it. So much so you can't figure it out. So now you gotta wait till certain events take place to give what you saw credence. To put it in a proper place. However, once you start learning how to talk to me, I can send you things nothing is never big. Never big. I'm not big. I'm taller than most people. But I'm not taller than the mountains. If you compare that, I'm little. I'm only one. Independent. I'm just one. But I'm the one that you can't get rid of. You know why? I won't say it's just because of my power. However, everything that is won't let you take me out. You know, when the sun shines and it starts to germinate life, the rising of the sap in the trees that brings the life to the trees. And this time of year, if you ride around, you see all the cows giving birth to the calves. You see them out in the field nursing their mommies. It's so abundant and it's in a certain time that it's taking place. That process will not let you put the light of the sun out. I'm going to say it again. The black man himself got to come alive. We know this. Although if he don't know it, we know it. And for that process taking place, and those of us that do have power, regardless of what you think or how many think, that we're going to take him out. We don't want him on the scene no more. That's the end of that. No more of these people coming up saying this, that, and that, and especially somebody coming up saying, he's God, we killing him. I go home and rest real good. Because the process of bringing you to life will not allow that thought to materialize. So I never have to worry about somebody killing me. I don't have to worry about that. If they did, I'd sure enough be surprised. I mean, I'd just be dead surprised. Am I making any sense to you? Are you sure? I'm not sending thoughts now, I'm just speaking them. So if you come in with your ears, you should allow it in. so you can think on it, and you can talk back to me. These are things that are not taught to you, that needs to be. This is what takes place from the spiritual, from the very essence of things. If you can't think it, then you always think that you're thinking good. You might be. You never think right. But you're missing something. And for the brothers, speaking with me, that's your task. Not the sisters. They cannot do that. They can come close. They can't do that. If they could, there'd be no need for you. They could create their own man. I want you to think about it. Sometimes my wives come to me and say, "Well, Father, we need to discuss something with you." And I say, "Well, what is it?" "We want to get everybody involved, everybody here. We want to have a meeting." "Well, let's do it." I say, "Well, where are we going to have it at, Father?" I said, "Well, you always do in my room." They come and tell me what seems to be the problem. To them, it's a problem. I sit and listen, and they sit and they discuss it. One will say so and so and so, the other will say, "Well, yeah, however, so and so and so and so." And I'm sitting and listening, right? And they go all the way around maybe twice. And I still ain't said nothing. I'm just listening. Because I want to see how close can they get. I know they're not God, but how close can they get? And they get real close. Then they say, "We just can't go no further." I said, now I can step in. And I said, "Where you missed it is so and so and so and so." They say, "Oh, why didn't we think of that?" They're not a man. They're not God. So they can always get real close. You can go to the sun. They have to turn to gas and float as high as they can go. And the gravity of the earth won't let them escape to go. If they made it, then you see the first evidence of water being destroyed. Did you get that? If you can make it straight to me, if you can make it straight to me, and if I don't put a shield over to protect you, there's nothing that could save you. Nothing that could save you. To let you know, the deserts that we have once was water. We didn't destroy the water. The water evaporated. However, the water-making apparatus or the laws that we used to make water, we took that apart. We dismantled it over that particular area. A desert couldn't remain a desert if it continued to rain. If you go by the seashore, and you got all the sand, that ain't no desert. Sand. Is that right? So we could do the same thing over the sand or the desert part of the earth. What happened? The people that were there used this mechanism so fast, they used it up. So it left it void over that area. So rain has to be brought in, and as the clouds pass by, if it decides to rain, it rains. That's it. Everywhere else, the process of making water is still there. I don't think y'all know what I'm saying. I'm going to give you a moment. Let's just drying it up. If you could actually make it to the sun itself, it would destroy the process. Are you listening? So there always must be a buffer between the female and the God himself. I'm going to say that again. There has to be a buffer. And if it wasn't, then the wife could leave her husband and go to Jesus. Which so many Christians think they've done. You are a barbarian. You don't go to that church. You don't love Jesus. I don't have nothing to do with you. If you're going to be the black man and you're going to be God, the closest she can get to the supreme being is you. Because I made you for me. You and I go hand in hand. I made her for you. Now, if I were to intervene and put her to me, I've cheated you. You understand? We're not going, up until now, it hasn't been the practice for each individual male black man to make a universe. So therefore, there must be a maker and a servant. So the servant must have a heaven also. If you are my heaven, then who's your heaven? I can't be your heaven. I'm your God. I'm not your heaven. Where's your heaven? So thinking this out and seeing it through, and if I'm going to show love to you, I have to show you or provide for you something that I have. Since you are my heaven, I'm going to give you some heaven. Now, if I intervene and take your heaven to me and leave you out, then I'm not the creator. Does that make sense? Yes. Do you all understand that? Yes. And it will be a damnable thing to place you in a place that you are not capable of standing. It will be a damnable thing. You can't place yourself there. Although all of the Christians that love Jesus so much above their husband and their fathers and their sons and their next door neighbors, all of you that did that, a man put you there. You didn't place yourself there. And you're doing it saying that you have a man, Jesus. He's my personal Lord and Savior. He is? When did you last see him? We've been looking for him. When did you last talk to him? We need to talk to him too. So you got to wake up and start thinking. Are there any questions that you need to ask me so that I won't take up your time? And anyone, unless it's an extreme emergency, since you all decided to have the meeting and the time at this particular time on Sundays, don't let nobody keep you. You can make me stay, but I can't make you stay. If I'm in agreement that you said from 11 to 1, then I come up because, well, I'm the big I, and I'll make you stay to 4. Because, you know, you're supposed to listen to Allah. That's not the way it works. If I agree, okay. Now, if I say, well, I have quite a bit more to tell you, will you stay and listen? No, Father, I'm not going to say, okay. I'm not going to do nothing. I can't make you stay because that's what we agreed, right? So you do the same thing. Somebody want to have a holdover meeting and want to do all this and do all the other, and you don't promise to take your wife to the movie and go and have some macaroni and cheese and you know, they spring this on you at the last minute. Then the brother looking over at his wife and she's looking back at him, what the? You got it? You do this, and you will see that life will be much sweeter, much sweeter. And if you learn, which is a must, black man, which is a must, when you learn to speak to me, you won't ever have to answer to no one else. If you say, well, from 11 to 1, that's exactly what it'll be. And that's one thing I give the Jehovah's Witness credit for. Before a minister or a preacher, whatever they call themselves, come up, they practice. They got to go right to the very second when it's supposed to be, that's it. If your lecture don't fit, you know, you got to keep sizing that boy down until you get right in that time frame. I just go down and watch them. And I just wonder why they do it so mechanically. And then we get in big arguments. You know, they get up and leave. But they working on time. I mean, I can't say they were wrong. You know, how can wrong be wrong? Do we have any questions? Any questions from anyone? Yes, ma'am. Want to come up to the mic? Did I make this clear enough for you to understand what being said? If not, get the tape, go over it, think about it, because it is a must. I want to always be here to tell you what to do or even suggest to you. Once you learn the formula, I don't have to teach you the timetables. You got it. Yes. And it's up to you how far you want to develop it. Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
I have a question because I'm pretty confused here. When you speak of me being Allah, are you saying you and physical flesh are Allah, or are you speaking from what Allah is telling you to speak? Saying me as in you're speaking from Allah up on his throne. I'm confused.
No, ma'am. It's actually me. In other words, that I'm not being used to be spoken through. This is Allah essence coming directly, like they say, from the horse's mouth.
Okay, so what makes you think, or I'm sorry, what makes you Allah in physical flesh? Yeah.
What makes me Allah is that I have, put it this way, I don't have negative in me. So this allows me to always be positive, always. Regardless of how much you bring, you can bring truckloads, trainloads, shiploads, plane loads of negative and dump it on me. Ploosh! Don't worry.
So if that's the case, if I was to remain positive, would that mean that I would be Allah?
No, ma'am. There is no one else that is a person, or there is no other material that is that way except me. This is specially prepared. Wait a minute.
Oh, no, I had no more questions, but I'm listening.
All right. This is designed. In other words, I didn't go to bed and wake up and say, oh, I think I'm Allah. It wasn't that way. In other words, before I was born, this was designed for this particular vessel body to be made in such a way where it would not give no argument or no opposition to truth. So if there's nothing in my thinking, there's nothing in the flesh of me that would dictate or even suggest to me something wrong and that I would consider it, then that's what allows me to be able to make things right in all of this wrong, because wrong can affect me. I'm going to do right regardless. And this time was designed for this to happen this way. And I have more than 10,000 angels to make sure that I express this continuously. If a problem comes up that looks like I can't handle, then it only appears that way. This is why everyone has the right. If you've got a problem, you can speak to me. I will share with you the exact solution to your problem. And that's up to you if you want to do it. Now, some people that has gone through the teachings of the messenger, or they've suffered some things during that period of time, they present a problem to me. Sometimes I just heal them right away, because they have already made a record and they're still here. You understand what I'm saying?
Actually, no, because what I believe that if you're Allah, then you can do superhuman things, such as make it rain right now, or just anything that, if you're Allah, that's what I truly believe.
I can do
if
that.
You're Allah.
I can do that.
Well, can you please make it rain right now?
What would be the purpose?
Because I want you to prove to me that you're Allah. If you're Allah.
And then after I do it, then what would you do?
If you're Allah, I would do anything you tell me to, and I will prostrate down to you if you do it. Because if you're Allah, you're worthy of it.
I actually believe you would do that. However, this is what would happen. You would do that. Then when you got home, not home, when you stepped outside of that door, outside of my presence, since you have negative in you, Satan's going to have a wonderful conversation with you.
Why do I have negative in me? Because I don't believe
I'm not saying in the sense of pointing fingers at you.
Right.
I'm saying in the sense of this is what would happen. This is why this is never done. I never do anything like that for a person to prove to, because that don't never prove nothing. To show the power of Allah, or if I am Allah, I'm to take all these heads that you see. Everything else that you see over here is dressed. It's dressed from the shoulders down. What is visible for you to actually look at is the head. I'm taking all these heads and making them to respond to creation in the proper manner. Nobody else can do that. Nobody. And I'm not doing it for no magical thing. I'm bringing back alive into them the art and method of creation. And I'm doing it in such a way where they say, well, oh yeah, that's true, I'm going to start to do it. And I know I can do it because I got a net here. I got a foundation here. I got a support here. It's called a nation, and it really is a nation. If I'm hungry, I can eat. If I need to travel, I can travel. Transportation will be affordable. If I need to have friends, I got a friend. If I need something to do, there's something to do. I don't have to say, I got this, but now I got to go take care of the necessities of life, so I got to go to work and do this. For this, I really don't like this job, but I'm going to do it over here anyhow, because I got to eat. With me, he said, yeah, I already know you got to eat, so I get farmland. Say, hey, work it. If you want to do like I just explained, you don't want to come to work till 3 o'clock in the afternoon, hey, well, this is what got to take place. Well, we do this at night, so you come at 3. And we do this. So this way, you can't lie to me. You can't say, well, yeah, I want to do right. And I got a place for you to do it, but then you come and say, well, I don't know if I want to do that or not. Either you lied or you didn't understand. Now, if you go to work on the other man's job, he don't even have to know you be a number. He don't even know you. He just want to see, what is my product producing at the end of this first quarter? What is the income and what is the outgoing? Now, if the outgoing looks greater than the income, look, fire so many people. 50,000 people got to go. They didn't say nobody's name. Just 50,000 people got to go. With me, that ain't that way. I'm here to heal your ills in your thinking, to cause you to really understand that there is a divine being, person, purpose, and aim. And you have a responsibility to that. And I have to show you how to be responsible to it. Not teach you that and then send you back to a job. You can keep going back to the job while you learn it. And after you learn, you start coming off the mother's breast like the child do. You start coming off that job. Instead of working overtime, you tell them, look, I really need to take an hour off earlier. Next month, I need to take a couple days off. Well, we're going to have to let you go. Well, don't give a damn and let me go. Because you got to... Nobody's doing that. And we are, as a people, the black people, as a people, there is no people in the universe or in this planet that is greater than the people, black people, here in North America. I'm not talking about Africa, the Caribbean. No place that exists that is a place that has beings on it is greater than this, what you see, and you. Nobody. However, you will never know it. You will never know this if the Supreme Being himself don't come. It is written, it ain't no secret. The man that took the writings and wrote it down, he wrote it in such a way to make it a secret. But from God, it wasn't no secret. You know within your own self, ain't nobody greater than you. You just have not had the opportunity to show your greatness because what you're working in won't allow that. So forget trying to make him change his thing around so you can show your greatness. Get your own thing set up. You can't get it unless God himself comes and set it up. Because by the time you start to getting things going, while everybody having negative in them, they're going to succumb to it. And they're going to be right back with this man again. And they're going to be cussing you out because you didn't come and help them the way they thought you should have. So you stay in a perpetual stagnant circle, doing the same thing over and over and over and complaining and complaining. God bless the child that has his own. You need your own nation, not geographical nation. Because we own the earth. And we're the God of the universe. Now we own it, but that don't mean we know how to actually operate it at this time. So I'm here to show you how to operate it. First, the planet is in here. The planet only means this is a live, living vessel that is expressing a man's plan. So we call it planet. This is the planet. See? So it come out of your head. So it don't master you, you master it. However, the man that we have here now, we never taught him how to master the planet. We brought him here to see what it would do if we allowed it to rule, not to master the planet. He can't do nothing. He can't even make it rain. You can. So you don't have to ask me to make it rain. If you want it to rain, I'd teach you how to do it.
Well, the reason why I said that was because I cannot quote the exact surah, but in the Quran, it does indicate that if someone professes to be Allah, then ask them to perform certain powers if they are Allah, and if they cannot do so, then they're not Allah.
Well, the reason why that's put there in the Quran is because what was spoken out of the Quran, who it was speaking to was the man of sin. So this way, they know how this proud and boastful this man is. So if they didn't put it there, it's impossible, literally impossible, for any Caucasian to be Allah. If that wasn't put there, he would portray himself as being that. So they said to guard against that and say, now, if he does that, or when he does that, ask him to do this. They know he can't. But if you ask me, if you can justify why it's got to be done, you better have your raincoat. It's got to be justified. You just have to have understanding, that's all.
Yes, sir.
You know, having, if you insult the sister, that only lasts for a few days. Come back.
Yes, sir.
You see how when you're not alive, what happens to your water? They think the Quran's a book. It'll burn just like everything else. And the people that refuse me is going to burn easier than the book. I mean, literally burn. Because I didn't make it rain. How many of y'all wanted to rain? You see? You see the job we got, black men? So when you can't talk to me, she asked me. Making rain is very easy. I mean, that's extremely easy. It is. I should have got back and heated me up some water, let it steam, and then turn the air conditioner on and let it rain on. You know, the damnable thing about this is this. When you're asking something of that magnitude, and if it don't come across the way you want it to come across, you cop an attitude. So who would I be pleasing, the wise man or a fool? You see? And can a fool be pleased? No. This is what you're up against, black man. This is what you're up against. Yes, ma'am. Now, I don't mean to scare you. You ain't ask what you want to ask.
The only question I had was, I'm a visitor here. I see sometimes y'all be using the Bible, and I hear how y'all say Christians always say they accept the Lord, that Jesus Christ, Lord and Savior. But have anyone ever looked up to you as their man, far as like putting their family to the side and their husbands to the side just because they wouldn't accept the same religion as they do?
What you're asking me to answer absolutely is yes. However, this is not a religion. What I teach things that is natural. I teach laws and principles of creation. When you were born in that law. There's a law that your mother is supposed to carry you approximately 9 months. And then the law says that you've got to come out whether you're alive or dead. That's a law. When you learn to operate from the law, then when you start to do this, and if your wife or husband or your daughter or your father will not agree to go with you to be with me, then it's not like nobody worships me. If they do, that's of their own. I don't teach worship of me. That makes it very, very small. I teach that you got to know your timetables. You know, just because I can work calculus, I'm not going to look down on you because you can't. I've been using the timetables longer than you, so I have learned how to use it to make the numbers bring up what I want. So it's called calculus. You know, these are different things that I have calculated and combined them together to bring about a large thing. So we call it calculus. You can do the same thing if you apply it. So you're not worshiping me. So this is how I teach, and it's not a religion. I'm teaching what really is. I'm teaching the is, and is you never see. You only see something that is dressed up. That's an illusion that shows you that there is an is. Meaning that you never see the entity of it. You don't see entities. White folks, they know that they taught you to be very physical, so when they show you something, they'll show you something floating through, it's formless. To let you know what it went into the body. Now the person is acting and they're doing all this. Well, they do that to let you know that something entered. If they just did it the way it's supposed to be, the person just start doing something different, but you never saw nothing because you cannot see with the naked eye. You cannot see no entity. You can't do that. So, I'm teaching how to make that alive and come back and take over what belongs to you. And white folks belong to us. You belong to us first. You belong to us first. And when we get that in order, that means now we have something right next to us that's clean. Cleanliness is next to godliness, not the Quran, not Jesus, and not the Bible. Christian or Christianity is something that has been used against us. In the absence of me, or the Supreme Being, or Allah, this seems to be very viable or something that would work. And it did. It kept you stumbling and fumbling on until I showed up. Right. So that's it.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. When you come to actually participate in this, you're coming home. I'm not a preacher. Yes, ma'am. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a minister. And I'm not proud. I'm an individual that really is. And since I really am, there is nothing that excites me to make me do something other than what's right. I may allow you to do some wrong in front of me because you learn it. I may even help you do some wrong because you learn it. Well, whenever I help you do wrong, believe me, I got it where it's not going to hurt anything. It might hurt you for you to see. Well, I ain't going to let it hurt me. Yes, ma'am.
How many questions can I ask?
These are not in no.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is Moses buried?
Where is Moses buried?
Yes, sir.
There is no burial site for Moses because there was never no Moses.
No? There's no Moses?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Can I ask another question then?
Yes, ma'am.
In Revelations, and I don't know the chapter, it says there was an hour and a half of silence in heaven. Can you tell me why?
An hour and a half of silence in heaven?
Yes, sir.
Well, if we're going to bring it right up to modern day time, this would be pretty close to the time. Or let's go back to in the passing of the messenger. From that time until now, until I stood up, or we'll say until Minister Farrakhan stood up and started repeating the message, there was silence in heaven. There was no one speaking what the messenger spoke. His son Warradeen didn't speak what the messenger spoke. He used a little bit of what the messenger said to trick the people, to tear down what the messenger brought up. So there was no other being that was under the messenger and the message that stood up and said anything, so there was a silence. The book may read an hour or so. However, it meant years. Like we said, we're going to give the devil 6 days. It turned out to be thousands of years. So that was really the silence. And now, I won't say it's actually silent. We're really at a point now where we don't have no enemies that is vocal enough to stand up and say anything. So it's like the ministers faded out. And since nobody don't know me, I'm speaking, but it's almost like nobody's saying nothing. They're not here. You see the people. I'm not on TV. I'm not on satellite. So just the ones that hear me and get the tapes, the only one that know that this meeting even took place. So it's like, according to the population of just Washington, D.C., it's like nothing was said today. It's almost like it's silent. However, that's fast coming to an end. To express it in its fullness it would be from the time that the messenger passed, the first 3 years, 3.5 years that he passed, nothing was said. Anyway, that was silence.
One more little one.
Yes, ma'am.
The Bible also says, and the first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Is it mathematical to apply that through life, everyday life?
No, ma'am. Not in everyday life. It has we have to take it to its fullest meaning. The last. The means definite. Not a last, but the last. So the last at this particular time is the black man. He's the last. He's on the bottom of all civilization. I'm talking about the black man in North America, not in Africa. In North America, he's the bottom. That means you too. However, by the God coming to him, he now will become first. So that's what that means. And in your everyday life, it's hard to apply that because you don't deal with things like last and first. You deal with ongoing things. However, in the purpose of life, you can apply it. I'm looked upon by the civilized world as being less. This man has said we are 3/5 of a human being, so that most certainly is last. That's what they say. However, God says, I'm going to be first. So there's got to be a process, and that's why it reads in Genesis, I think it is, I will come and bring you out with great substance. Is it Genesis or? With great substance. And I will judge the man that did this to you. So no longer will you be the last. You're going to have great substance. So that's what it means.
Okay, I know I said that was the last, but I just thought one more little one.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I ask a hypothetical question?
Yes, ma'am.
Say, for instance, I was with the idea 5 years, had a meeting like today, went home, had bean soup and salad for dinner, went to bed and did not wake up. Can you explain to me or help me with what happened?
Well, maybe it was your time.
Where would I go?
Hypothetically, where will you go when you pass?
Mm-hmm.
You mean like if you die?
If I die.
Don't wake up.
And don't wake up.
You would go to where all of the souls or the entities go, and that's back to the sun that's making it nice and bright out here.
Okay.
That's why they say we're the God of the universe. You know, we can, especially in this solar system. There is no solar system or sun system like this one. Or in the whole universe, we're the only one that's that way. And if we're going to describe the sun and its perpetualness, we have to say it is done from the sheer will of Allah, that it continues to be what it is. There's nothing refueling it that we can see or even imagine to cause it to burn the way it does, day in and day out. For trillions of years, it never fails. What keeps perpetuating that? That is the constant going and coming of our entities. When you pass, that's where you go. When you go there, you absolutely pure, you in your essence. And so, from that point, what makes the sun so hot and the rains come? Because at that point, the will is so strong. It's so strong, it puts out that type of energy that makes everything in its sphere submit. So that's why it has every planet spinning at the same rotation. Every planet is coming from the sun. And it's coming from the will that we actually have when we're there in a collective manner. However, this particular planet is the physical home of Allah himself. So he brought his people here at the end of time to put them in one spot, to let them go through the severeness of this negative man, so they have a thorough, and everybody else that is watching, have a thorough understanding as to what must take place in the universe. Now here in North America, in other words, the cause for negative must be destroyed permanently. Not killed, but it has to be destroyed. So this is what we're going through. We're being watched by the universe. We're not just being watched by England and Germany and Italy. We're being watched by the universe because what takes place here allows them to feel comfortable and be comfortable in a mathematical, logical, thoughtful way that this negative, certainly happy that there is a God that came along that is negative free, that has the right and the authority to make everything like him. That means get rid of negative. So I don't have no opposition. I don't have to kill or destroy nothing that is because it's in opposition with me. They all see it, they understand it, and they say, get rid of it. That's what's happening. I talk too much?
No, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I agree with a lot of stuff that you're saying today and that the other speakers were saying. I'm still researching and finding out a lot of stuff for myself because I know also that the depiction of Jesus Christ that the white man handed us is not true, because in Revelations it was talking about his hair was of wool and his feet bronze, the color of bronze, but also that his hands could not have been nailed to the cross also because it would have just split right away. It could not support the weight of his body. But I wanted to know, I heard one of the speakers saying something about, or I think all of them said that our people have been suffering at the hand of white people for over 400 years, but haven't our people also made ourselves suffer, or haven't we, enslaved ourselves like the Egyptians made the people work for them to build up the temples and everything that was made in Egypt, or that the Africans helped the devils get us over here into slavery. What can you help me to understand more about that?
Well, this is the plan of the black man, which at the time was in Africa. The plan started before we got to Africa. The physical expression of it started in Africa. So the Africans helping the white man to sell us as slaves and whatnot was only carrying out the plan, whether he knew it or not. Now, to charge the black man for doing this like the white man did to us is an error. This is the same thing as like saying, there is no clean water. So when I finish taking a bath in the water, there's no clean water, I bring you the water that I bathed in. So you're saying, well, you brought me dirty water. Couldn't find no clean. There is no clean water. So if I could have found the clean water, I would have brought you the clean water. So what I'm saying is the black man is only doing what the system allowed him to do. And since the white man killed the parents and taught the babies what he wanted them to know, now it's gotten down to the point now, he don't have to teach you nothing. You have swallowed the line, hook, line, and sinker. You just swallowed it. So that's why the sister could get up and ask the question. She don't know if I'm God or not. And then become offended and leave. It ain't her fault. It is, but it's not. She's laboring under a system that has taught her to be that way. Well, to show you that I dislike this, I'll leave. Not stopping to think, well, there ain't but one leaving, so it ain't that much. I mean, I really don't miss it. You see what I'm saying? So no, we cannot be charged for that. What we can be charged for is hearing this, can't prove it's wrong, they won't accept it. Then the book reads in Revelation, I think it's in Revelation, that my people lose their life for the lack of knowledge after I sent it to them. They rejected it. So I killed them. You see? So the knowledge is, this is where it is. And what makes this so great? I'm going to say this, and you'll only be able to pull it over on people that don't know. Anyone that comes to be with me, when you first come or whatnot, you come to be with me. There are certain laws and rules of conduct that's expected of you so that you can get your footing. If you're a thinking person, that process can be flexible. Now, I'm not saying you can get out of it. You got to be able to think. So I mean, if you go through your pre-orientation classes. You write your letter and you're accepted. Now we expect to see you every time the door's open. And you say, man, that's just too damn much. I mean, don't. I was just there last night. I gotta go back again tonight. I want to watch WWF. This is what you do. If everybody's going to be like me, how many times you see me at the meeting? Very seldom, right? So if you're going to be like me, how many times we can see you at the meeting? Very seldom, right? However, you can never find me. You can never catch me doing other than what you went to meeting about. You got it? So if I make $5, $4.75 go to the nation. I keep a quarter, might need to make a collect call. What's 35 cents now? You understand what I'm saying? All right. You all understand that? Yeah. Until you start to be able to think where your physical presence isn't needed, then you got to come. When we need bodies, and you don't want to show up, you have to be wise enough to send the body. Somebody can stand in your place. Right? If you have your fundraiser and frying the fish is killing you, my wife came on last night and said, oh, I have a terrible headache. I said, really? Oh, yes, Father. She laid her head down on my lap. I said, you still got it? Oh, yes, sir. I said, what are you doing? I'm still frying fish, so. She got up and downstairs. She's still frying fish for today, I think. So I said, look, go tell her to take some tea tree oil. Just rub it underneath her nose. Because what's happened, she's been in that house, it's not ventilated right, you're going to have a headache. So all of the toxin that you get from the smoke, well, now that tea tree oil take it away just like that. So she went and used all my bottle underneath her nose. And I see headache going, she said, yeah, it's left here, it's back here. Oh, it's on its way out, don't worry. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Just before you said it, you know one thing? People that get the taste and listen to this, you'll be surprised if they're really listening. If they're not listening, I got to hear Master Muhammad. I got to hear Elijah. I got to hear the minister. He ain't talking like that. I don't want to hear it. Just in humor. So many things you learn. I mean, so many things you learn just in humor. Yes, ma'am.
I'm a first-time visitor, and I'm not here to argue whether you're Allah in the living flesh or not, because that I do not know. I am very open-minded, and nothing surprises me these days, nothing. So, but what I would like to know, Father, is this is my first time actually seeing you. I've listened to a tape that a relative had given me before, and I learned a lot from it. And I want to know, when was it that you realized that you had these special powers, and how long have you been speaking publicly?
Well, I've been speaking publicly, I think about, where is Brother Derek? Where is he? 1990? 1990. She listened to both of us. Publicly about 1990. And when did I first realize that?
When did you realize? You say you were born, it's something you were born with. It's possible. I'm not arguing with that, but when was it that you realized that, wow, I have these special powers. I never do wrong.
I realized it when I was about 4 years old. However, there wasn't enough evidence. I haven't lived long enough to collect enough evidence to identify what I was experiencing. I just knew that I had something that was very, very satisfying, that I could express from myself to make anybody do almost what I wanted them to do. And what I wanted them to do was never negative. It was never bad. And they always gave a comment about me like, he's a wonderful baby. He's a wonderful boy. And I was nervous they were saying that about me and they wasn't saying that about others. However, still growing up, I still didn't have the knowledge to confirm what this is. I just felt comfortable with it. Then as I grew, and I started to see life, and I said, man, life is a dog. I can't do none of this. People think I'm crazy. They used to call me Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And then after I heard Elijah, the first time I heard it, what? You mean to tell me a man like this exists? I'm gone. And after that, I was with him for about 5 years before he passed. And by then, I had tried quite a bit. I still didn't know my true identity. I just knew I could do things. I could stop accidents. I could make people move. You know, when you got something, you try it. So you try to find what is it. You know, and I never tried to do anything bad. You know, I stopped police from doing things. You know, I used to do a whole lot of things. I went out to a truck stop one night and cops like that roughing up the brothers one night. I made them stop. I used to do that and lean up against the pole. I said, they're going to stop this. And I stopped it. Police looked at me like they knew. You know, white folks ain't dumb either. They looking around like somebody's. And I'm leaning up against the pole and they look. Did he do that? They couldn't prove it. You see? So then, before the messenger, just about the time the messenger was getting ready to leave us, or we was getting ready to take him, we had some of these scientists or elders, what we read about in the Bible, came and talked to me. They came and got me. And the things that they shared with me, I didn't want to sit in the truck stop one night and talk to me for about 4 or 5 hours. I haven't got to the end of that yet. In other words, when they were telling me, I mean, it was an exhilarating experience. When you know, you ever have your wife look at you like, the look tell you, I love you. You know, if she say it, the words can't match the look she gives you. She says it, I love you. But in your mind, you say, I know it because you're saying it greater with your expression. Then you go in your mind and say, well, how can I justify this? I mean, why she love me like this? What did I do? Let me recapture that to make sure I continue doing this. So they were looking at me and said, just your name is so great. And they were looking at me with that love, passionate, say, it's Royall Jenkins. See, it means so much. We don't have enough time to tell you what it means. And that's just one of your names. See, you have so many of them. We'll give you the definition, just one definition of it. That's all you need for right now. You come into the meaning of the rest of it. And I felt so good. I hear what it means. Well, watching them tell me and express this. These are people. Now, we wasn't riding in no car or sitting in a restaurant. We are in space. And we wasn't on the shuttle. You see what I'm saying? So I can't say these are great people and they're using white folks' transportation. White wasn't nowhere in it. Now, there's something different. We sitting, you know, and even then, when they spoke to me sitting in the restaurant, or sometimes they ride with me in the truck. I pick them in, you know, I ride along and stop, and they had the power to let me know, hey, I'm one of them. I stop here. You want to ride? Yep. They jump in and they just chew my ear off. Just talk to me. And everything they say is so profound in the way that they say it. It is. There's no trick involved in it. The language and the way they use the words is even different. The way they speak, you know, certain things that they were telling me you're going to do. I think to myself, man, I'm going to do that? Am I actually going to live that long to do that? And this is what's going on in my head while they're saying it, and I'm looking at them. And they come back, yeah, you going to do it? And one time I asked them, I said, are you trying to tell me I'm going to live forever? They said, you certainly are. I said, I'm not going to die? Why should you? Do you want to? I said, not necessarily. So if I come to you in a situation where it's unorthodox, you're not looking for it, and I make you feel so comfortable, and I start telling you things that you know is real, because I'm really speaking to your soul and not your mind, and you can't deny that. And I'm sure of what I'm speaking. I don't have the right nor the authority to condemn what you're doing. In other words, say, if you were doing this to me, or when they were speaking to me, I couldn't tell them, well, no, I don't see that. I don't agree with that. That never even occurred in my mind. Because the settings they had me, I didn't put myself in it, they had me in it. Especially when I was on the ship, I'm sitting there, man, when they gonna take off? You gotta do like she did, start giving a little attitude. So he's standing over there by the side, you just standing there looking at him. Let me get him, go over here and talk to him. I got up, walked over, I couldn't hear, and I couldn't hear myself walk. I'm on one of the spacecrafts. I could not hear myself walk. I got over next to him, and I looked at him and said, man, we're out in space, we've been moving all the time. I didn't know it. That's how smooth we moved. I didn't even know we were moving. They carried me to all around the universe. They showed me all these things. So how in the world could I say I don't agree? I mean, can you have to make it rain. You see what I'm saying? In other words, I'm not doing this in and of myself like him, although I am. I didn't initially in this body do it. Like I asked him, well, if I am Allah, how come I wasn't already doing this? They say, you set it up before it happened this way. So we're following our instructions to the left. You see, because what they were telling me, in the awareness that I had at that particular time, I could easily see them for being God, not me. I didn't have no shit. I didn't go get them. They came and got me. So they're telling me that I'm greater than them. You see what I'm saying? If they didn't have me in the specific situation that I was in the surroundings, I could argue with them, but I couldn't. Why should somebody be able to do this and have that type of knowledge and come with a lie? It wouldn't make sense. Why would you come to tell a nobody that he's somebody, but he's really nobody? You see? So for people not to believe that I'm Allah, and they said, your biggest problem will be disbelief. Your biggest problem will be disbelief. Now, don't go and make nobody do nothing. I said, well, I can't do that. They said, you can, but don't do that. I didn't ask why. And one day I did it. I made them do it against their will. And it came back on me. I said, oh, I see why now. Don't ever do anything while you're angry. This is what they're telling me. Don't do nothing while you're angry. You can do something because you were made angry, but don't do it while you're angry. Because if you send out a thought, if you send your will out, if you send something out in the way of justice to the person or thing that made you angry, we cannot stop it. And you're the only individual that exists in the universe that we can't stop. So before you do it, please don't do that. If I do it, what will happen? Some of what you send, they have to get. The rest of it, we have to divert it into something else. We can divert it, but we can't stop it. So speaking of that type of knowledge, why would I go against it? I forgot one time, but I heard and learned. Because it came back on me. Oh, the person got it. I mean, they really got it. But I got some of it too. I said, oh, that's what they meant. I ain't forget it no more. I don't do that no more. That's why, people cuss me and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you with me, and you can do something like that, I say, well, look, so is the case. And I always give you a way out. Most of you so mad you don't hear it. And I'll be talking to you a little bit. You don't hear the way out. So when you leave, you go the way that Satan is telling you, and you mess up. Then the car run over your foot, break your toes. Well, I just don't know how to happen. I always give you a way out. I don't mean to make you keep standing. Something else you want to know?
That was it. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Is there anything else? Oh, yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum, Father. Well, this is something else, too. When you go to a house that you've been invited to, and there's a meal that's prepared for you to eat, that's the purpose of you going. It is to nourish your physical body and to give to your senses a sense of pleasure. And you actually go and partake of the meal, and it actually is wonderful. It's really something to write home about. And you exit the table. And you have somewhat of a frown on your face and you say nothing and leave. Then the one that prepared this, now they have a question. What is it I didn't do with the meal? Did I miss something? Why would they do that? It's a question. You cannot come to a place, regardless of where it is. If I'm teaching in your bathroom, that's the place. You might say, well, I'd rather go to Carnegie Hall. Go. If I'm not there, you just go into a place. But if you want to be in this place, come to your bathroom. That's where I'm at. So if you're invited to partake of this meal, as the Quran reads and the Bible reads, if you want to drink of this water where there's no end, you can quench your thirst, you won't be full, stuffed, and you won't be thirsty. And the well still continues to flow. Why then would you leave and leave a question on the maker of the well as though the water wasn't quite satisfying? Is it because of the residue of what this world has placed on you and you've accepted? Is it that you don't see enough? It wasn't enough water because it's a spring and it's constantly flowing. It doesn't measure up to the ocean. So really, no big thing has taken place where you're concerned. However, all of the water that's in the ocean and oceans and seas cannot give you life. It has life in it that you can take out of it and use, but it itself can't give you life. Only this spring, just this one spring, that's flowing ever so gently and civilized, that will allow you to drink from it without a cup. It will not insult you by washing your face and you don't want to. Could it be the dullness of what this world put on you that you miss all these little things? And as long as you continue to miss it, what makes you think you will ever be able to hear me speak to you? You talk back. I never shout when I'm speaking directly to you, in you. So if Satan whispers to you, I wonder, what do I do? They never talk about how I talk to you. Is it a whisper? No. It's a thought. And you're in accord with it. So it's like it's coming from you. The whisper is Satan, and you know you're hearing something and it's not you. It's coming from outside of you, or even though you're hearing it in your head, you are not a part of that. It's an idea being injected that you have to think on. So that's not me. When I speak to you, it automatically confirms that's it. Now I will think on how to bring it out if it is to be brought out. Not that I have to think on it, is it it? You understand? And if I was a God to actually express myself the way I'm suggested to do, what would I do if I became upset? What would I do? Would there be anything that I could do that you could stop me from doing? However, you do have the power to make sure whatever relationship that you and I have is always wonderful. Is it 1 o'clock yet? Is it all right if I answer the brother's question? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. A lot of people ask me this question about Malcolm X. It was sharing me on a tape that the motion of Allah, where he was a hypocrite. And my question was, what directly made him a hypocrite? And then I have a second question referring to, some say that Elijah Muhammad was speaking about celibacy, and he was telling him not to have different wives or all these children, and he was doing the same thing. That's my question.
Oh, yes, sir. What makes a hypocrite is a person that says that they believe in the beginning, and their actions show that they believe, and then they later turn and say that they disbelieve, and then they want to take others that do believe out with them. That's what makes them a hypocrite. Malcolm X fit the prophecy, or fit that description very good. He was one of the pronounced speakers for the Nation of Islam, or for the messenger, or the message. And then he turned and went the same way as all the other hypocrites. And it's not that Malcolm didn't believe. However, he did what the disbeliever or hypocrite does. He speaks in terms that he disbelieved, but he spoke out of vengeance. He knew he couldn't do nothing to the messenger, but he would like for the messenger's people that was with him to turn against the messenger. So, in all reality, his actions show that he was a hypocrite, and he died like one. Now, as far as the messenger having children, having wives, and having more than one child, or having a wife having more than one wife and having children, well, that was ordained by Allah Himself. We must remember we're coming alive out of death. So much so the book said we were stinking. We was in the grave 4 days. Matter of fact, they was asking Jesus, they don't need to mess with him. He dead and stinking, but now. Jesus said, no, I'll bring him back. He brought him back. And if you've ever gotten up from a long sleep or an illness and tried to walk, even if you had your leg in a cast for a while, when they take the cast off, you almost stumble. Can you imagine 400 years of deadness? And now the person that killed you is still there, feeding you every day death. Then here comes a man come down in your death and bring you back up. And then tell you, because you're the first one, and this has to move rapidly. And since I prepared today for tomorrow, go and get you at least 9 wives. And make sure you impregnate each and every one of them as often as possible. Because we need your seed. The seed that you produced before you got the message is not the seed that we want. That seed is the seed of the white man, your enemy. This seed is the seed of the thought that is divine, that comes from me to you. You've accepted it. You said that you would do just as much as Jesus. Give your life for this. So therefore, you will construct your seed to do the same. So have children. This is what I ordained for you to do. The rest of them, tell them, don't do that. I have not as of yet touched them. If you touch them, that's you. You are not me. Don't even name them. If you do, let it be the ones that be around you all the time, just so you don't have to speak the devil's name. Other than that, if they're not around you, leave them alone. I will name them. I'm not going to hold you to no one woman. I want your seed. I want it. And the seed that this message produced, I will give them to you. But I'm going to take your children. Allah, going to take your children. Because I know what well it's sprung from. Now, because Malcolm and anybody else don't like it, I didn't ordain them. They don't have the power to stop it. They don't have the authority to condemn it. They can't do nothing about it. You do it. And when it's over, I'll take you close to me and put you in my bosom. And when I come, if it pleases me, I will bring you back with me. And I, being Allah, I'm going to have more than 9 wives. Take it easy. I prepared you to repopulate this planet. I myself have to get ready to populate the whole universe. So those of you that actually start to be real close to me from a divine or genetic way, that actually marry into the children that I have, you're not going to stay here. I got a universe of my own. I got to leave. I'm not going to leave and be lonely because I got used to being in company. So all of your judging, what math did you use to justify it? And for what purpose did you use it? You got to think today. You got to think. That's why I tell my wife, I say, you want to leave? After you have the baby, you want to leave? You ain't taking the baby. Matter of fact, if you leave, it ain't going far. I might go with you. Everything is done for a reason. Nothing is ever done on happenstance. Nothing. And it's so many of you all. You know, this is why when the love is really developed in you for truth, the love for truth, there is no individual, I don't care who it is, even if it's the messenger, if he steps out of the circle and realm of truth, then he stepped out of my ability to love him. I can understand it, but he stepped out of the water, he's on the land now. The only way he will get wet is it rain. And since I don't want it to rain on him because he stepped out, I don't let it rain, he don't get wet. He got to develop a thirst for this and come back to the water. When you can do that, then there is no one that can ever hold you hostage. Well, I've been married to you for 60 years. Why you want to leave me now? You want to go with that Solomon? Yeah, baby, I got to go. That's the man. You not a man. You ain't been one for the 60 years that I knew you. You wasn't there for the 16 that you've with your father. Matter of fact, I don't think you ever been a man. So we've been together this long, I'm leaving, going with him. Are you coming with me? No, I'm not going. Well, this is tough, baby, but I got to go. That way nothing or no one can ever hold you prisoner. Nothing. If you do something wrong, it's because you already have mastered it. When I say do something wrong, if your spouse asks you to do something, you know it's wrong. And you say, all right, well, I'll agree, I'll do that. You know you can stop it at any time or you can direct it and control it while it's being done. So it's wrong, but it renders everything harmless. You know, Arcadia came up and spoke. And she said, Father, she offered them and said, Father, if people just, if they knew you were like this, they'd be cracking up. You see me on the rostrum speaking because this is the way I operate. To me, it is so natural. I do this all the time. This is me. That's why I can think this way, because it's me. Don't nobody think like this. It's me. So I make a whole life for me while I'm developing into what I'm really going to be. So I'm in this flesh. I said I would come looking like I'm slain from the foundation of the earth while I'm doing this to attract you and then cause you to be coming, and then I start evolving and changing into what I'm really going to be. While I'm doing that, I'm having fun. So I may say to one, well, you know, so-and-so said so-and-so about you. What? It wasn't a lie, but it wasn't true. So they come out, oh, Father, I said, oh, yeah, you know I was playing. It was wrong. It hurt nobody. You got what I'm saying? Because I never do anything out of vengeance. If I do, it's strictly from truth. That way you can't come back. You can't come back on me. It's impossible because it's absolutely right and exact. Now, if it ain't, you know I'm playing. So when you come back, it wasn't nothing there no else. So when you swing, I just go with it. You follow what I'm saying? You can do the same thing. Now, I didn't say I go do wrong. You know. Then I have a select number of people that I teach like that. You know, some people, they learn from wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So I may indulge in that while they're learning. You know, I might tell them, yes, Santa Claus. Then I explain it. They say, oh, yeah, I see what you mean. But there ain't no Santa Claus. Was that it? Is that it? Oh. Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum, Father.
Wa alaikum salam.
This is a two-part question I'm asking for Brother James 94X, he's on post at this time.
Yes, sir.
The question is, why must one shed his first teeth for the permanent ones?
Because of the mass or the solid that he will be busted up or whatnot, the first ones are not strong enough. The first teeth come in just to make a way for the permanent teeth. That's the only reason why you have teeth, the little teeth in the beginning.
Yes, sir.
It makes a way for the permanent teeth to come through.
Yes, sir. The second question is, what is the spiritual meaning of the first question?
Well, spiritual meaning that God will show up as a baby, as a child, young and tender. And then he would grow into being himself, bringing you along with him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I thank you.
Yes, sir, that's it?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Walaikum salam.
Yes, sir, I have two questions. My first question is, would it be wise to get a trade dealing with the destruction and everything taking place?
That depends upon you. If you have a particular thing that you really want to go and do, or you want to do, if we are not doing it at the time, then yes, sir, go and develop it. Because we are going to eventually reach that level where we will be doing it. And I would much rather someone that is with us think the way that we think, be with us doing it instead of us hiring someone.
Okay, yes, sir. My second question is,
and there's something else too. It's just food for thought. In this world's language, it's called, a trade. With us, we don't have trades. We have skills, and you can develop them. Now, I understand what you're saying. What you said was all right.
Yes, sir.
I mean, God talking now.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. My second question is, it was said that lemon cures the sight of your eyes. I wanted to know, is that true? And if it is true, what is the process that or method that I use or need to use to go about and curing my eyesight?
Well, especially if you're young. If your eyesight is being damaged or impeded by mucus, not by no illness. And usually the illness that comes into the eye is coming from the disease that's held in the mucus. The lemon will actually break it up and cause it to eliminate from your body, therefore restoring your sight. Now, this is why if you eat a lot and you become obese, the parasites that's in the body that's supposed to break the food down and help you digest it and whatnot, if it's too much for them, it's sent off into another mucus form. And it's stored up like fat. And it's done that way to keep it away from your organs. If it was allowed to get to your heart or your lungs or whatnot, then you're in serious trouble. So to reverse the process, if you take the lemon, wash it off, make sure it's clean, whatnot. If we had our own lemon trees, that'd be better. And grind the whole thing up, the lemon seed, pulp and all, grind it up and drink it. With the process of the colonics and other foods that have that keep moving, then mostly everything that's wrong with you will clear up. But if you just do the lemon by itself or whatnot, you're going to bring about some problems on yourself if you do it that way. Now, if you're going to do it, if you got time, you're young, you got time, you want to do it, take 7 to 10 years to do it. Every day take you about 2 or 3 glasses of lemon water, no sugar in it. Take your lemon, squeeze the water, squeeze the lemon into the water, and just drink it.
Yeah. Yes, sir. So, I use the lemon seed also and grind it up?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, sir. Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Oh, pleasure seeing you. I have a question, 2 questions. My first question is, when does vengeance belong to man himself?
When does visions belong to man?
Vengeance.
Oh, vengeance belong to man?
Yes, sir.
When he can justify it. In other words, if you can justify vengeance, that means that you and I are in accord the same. So when you do it, it's like I'm doing it. Now, if you do it because it's personal, then you nullify your right to do it. If you do it because it was done personally to you, and what you were doing was affecting so many other people in the way of being positive, then if you are right to bring about vengeance if you can justify it. So when that's done that way, when you do it, it's the same as me doing it.
Yes, sir.
And you won't get no comeback.
Yes, sir. My second question is, what do you say to a person or what kind of person who doesn't even fear Allah himself, fears no fear at all?
Well, usually it's a lack of knowledge. They may not fear Allah because they don't have no knowledge of Allah. Put them in a dark room and tell them there's a couple cobras in there and lock the door. You don't know which way to move. Because you don't know where they are. It's not a rattlesnake, they don't rattle. And if you mess around and stumble trying to find your way out, or you get mad, well, I'm breaking out of here, and you feel something or pressure, ooh. The absence of the knowledge of Allah allows a person to have no fear. When you have the real knowledge is the way it's supposed to be, then you fear him as he should be feared. Right. Just to fear him like people, like they fear God, they say that. That's an ignorant fear. They scare everything. The tooth fairy, they scared of him. And when you got knowledge, I being Allah, if I know I've done you wrong, then I would fear you. And I'm Allah. But what I do, I make sure I go and correct what I did wrong before you decide to retaliate. Now, if you're about to retaliate at the same time I'm coming to correct my error, then I try to talk to you long enough to let you know my intention for me even being there. And then if you reject it, and say you're going to exercise vengeance anyhow, I might let you get one off on me. Now that's enough, don't come no more. Because I was wrong. You understand? So that's why it's always best to be of good cheer, to be in my spirit. Because even if you stumble, you catch yourself before any serious thing happens. That's the question. Anything else? All right. Is that it? Yes, sir.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
We're having a little trouble forming our question because I have a lot of times, every time that you speak, I have questions the night before, and I write down some questions. I want to know this, I want to do that. I don't know exactly how I want to form it, how I want to ask it. And the question is, it's shared that if it's certain things that we're going to be doing, in higher knowledge of things, we haven't got there yet, and something that interests me. I don't know if you notice or whatnot. Every time I have asked you a question, it's been in the way of our brains, how we think. I always ask a question about that because that's the thing that interests me most. And if anything that I'm doing out here, my mind's always going. I'm sitting in the back thinking of how I'm asking you a question. I'm thinking what you gonna say. I got some music playing in my head. I'm always thinking about a lot of things. And I want to know, how can I direct that, or
let me ask you for you?
Yes, sir.
How can you interject my world into the world that's in your head? Because my world seems to be greater than what your world is. And you have not yet learned how to discard your world and accept mine entirely and understand it. So how can you take my world and have you rotating in your head? to keep you always feeling as good as you feel when you hear my world.
Yes, sir.
Is that the question? Is that it?
Yes, sir.
It comes from participation. First thing you do is participate in the mental or the spiritual, what you actually hear. You think on it. And you see, because your world is operating the same way mine is, it's just not giving the vision that mine is giving. So you have to take the vision and see where in this world or my world, your world fits. And you will do that when you start thinking, and then while you're thinking, you go into motion. That everything you do have a meaning. Even if you go to the toilet paper and use toilet tissue, they come in sections. Count them. Just don't roll it up and just tie it off. Don't do that. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you. And just by every time you do it, count it. Let it be the same way. That's why you get to you roll off. Don't have to look at it. You look at it, same thing. Something simple. Keep doing that. Everything you do, just keep doing it.
Yes, sir.
And that's other ways you will grow into that.
Yes.
That's why you will start to see there is no your world and my world. It's just the world. And you have a right to it just as much as I do. Because you're in accord with the laws that's making it be the world. And you can become influential in it. You can be effective in it. You can influence in it. So you won't always be at the point where you're searching.
Yes, sir.
When you're doing it, you got your music in your head. Let it be the right music.
Yes, sir.
You know, everything will fit. It's very good what's happening with you.
Yes, sir. And because this is everything that I'm doing now and out here in the world, it's nothing. And you know, it's I get tired of things very fast. You know, it's something I need something new. It's like,
well, you need to be around brothers that's already participating in this, and just the conversation that you have, you'll find it to be more stimulating. If you go to the classes, you know, inject yourself in the class. You don't have to be right. Just say it. Just do it. Then if you're wrong, you know, we'll let you know. That's an error, and this is why. Then that way, once you find out, then you know what we know and know what you know. Okay? All you got to do is participate, that's all. The same as what they was telling me, I asked the same thing. Why me? I mean, not why me, but how is this me? You see. And how I see is because what I do. You know, people come up and ask me questions. Sometimes people ask me questions. It had to be a time that every question that I was asked, it was the first time I was asked it. Some questions I never thought about. When they asked me, I opened up the book. Oh, there's the answer. Book in my head.
yes, sir.
Because I used the math of it. There it is. When I come up with the answer, here's the answer. And you can't say it ain't the answer. But until you ask me, I mean, I wasn't walking around just, you know, just up in my head, well, so-and-so, you know. I'm thinking about now, going out and getting my dually and ride down the street, look at the people.
Yes, sir.
You know, because after a while, I ain't going to be here. So I get my eyes full now.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Father.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Talk to me in your head. You'd be surprised at the conversation you and I have. And you also be surprised at how many people benefit from it. And all of you all that are my age and older, or close to it, try to be flexible. If not, get a case of lemon. Start working on that, boy. You know, keep your ears clean. Keep the wax out of your ears. Because if you're going to live to see this the way it should be seen, nothing of the old. The book reads, all things are made new, all. And because you've been here over half a century, that don't give you the right. It didn't say if you were a certain age, you can't change. You don't read that. All things are to be made new. And it's coming at a time when the youngest person that's living under the messenger's teaching would be 30 years and up. After the messenger passed, the youngest person that was with the messenger had to be 30 years and upward. You got that? So it's letting you know, this is the time. Is that it? You gonna eat and enjoy yourself? I'll be at home. I'll wait for the coming in. Assalamu alaikum.